This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. This is example 21 of solving equations with fractions, and we'll be doing this problem on this video. So notice I have three fractions in this equation, and they all have different denominators. So this is especially the type of problem where you would want to multiply both sides by the least common denominator and eliminate fractions. So I'm going to only solve it using that method on this video. Well, maybe I'll solve it the second way. All right, so let's see. This is my own unorthodox way of saying that I'm going to multiply everything on both sides by the same number. This only works if you have an equation, remember? So what's the least common denominator? I've got 2, I've got a 3, I've got a 4. So hopefully you know how to get the least common denominator. That's on another video, and that would be 12. So we're going to multiply all terms on both sides of the equation by 12. By the way, if you want to do it the way it's shown in most books, you would put 12 times x over 2 plus 2/3, and then show on the other side you're also multiplying by 12. Okay, in any case, you're still doing 12 times x over 2, 12 times 2/3, and you're doing 12 times 3/4, right? So this is just one last step when I just put the bracket around the actual problem and put the 12 in front of it. That's just because I'm a little bit lazy, don't want to write this extra step. Okay, so we've got 2 going into 12 6 times, 3 going into 12 4 times, 4 going into 12 3 times. So when you multiply by the least common denominator, you get an equation that doesn't have any fractions. So I have 6x plus, we got 4 times 2, which is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. So now I have an equation without fractions, easier to solve. So we'll subtract 8 from both sides. And divide both sides by 6. So that we get x equals 1/6. All right, so it looks like that's our answer. Let's go ahead and check it. So we're going to put in 1/6 in place of x. So I've got 1/6 divided by 2 plus 2/3. All right, so now this is a little bit tricky. We have this complex fraction over here. You can't multiply both sides by the least common denominator. It's not an equation, it's just an expression. But what does this mean? 1/6 over 2. It means 1/6 divided by 2. Okay, it means 1/6 divided by 2. But what does it mean to divide by 2? It means to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's how you could do that. 1/6 divided by 2 is 1/6 times 1/2. So I'm just going to keep in mind over here to remind you. That means 1/6 divided by 2, which of course means 1/6 times 1/2 plus 2/3. So if you look ahead, you see this is going to have a denominator of 12, and over here it's going to have a denominator of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this 2/3 times 4 over 4 to get a common denominator of 12. So I have 1/12 plus 8/12, and that's 9/12, which reduces to 3/4. And on the right-hand side, I've got 3/4. So it checks. Okay, so since I got the same number on both sides, I know that this is the correct answer. So x equals 1/6 is the correct answer. So the solution, using braces, is 1/6. Okay? Okay, so this is the way we solved it the first way. And I think that's definitely the easiest way to solve this. But you could also solve it by starting with this equation, x over 2 plus 2/3 equals 3/4, subtracting 2/3 from both sides. So those of you who are interested in seeing how to do that, keep watching. You definitely don't have to do it more than one way. I would always do it by multiplying by the least common denominator. But I just want to show you that that is not the only way to do it. You could subtract 2/3 from both sides. You know, just deal with the fractions as they are. So on this side I have x over 2. And now to do 3/4 minus 2/3 I need a common denominator. So I can multiply this by 3 over 3. I can multiply this by 4 over 4 because the common denominator is 12. And that is actually the same thing as 9/12, right? So I'm going to leave off that equal sign just going to show my work over to the right. So it's going to be 9/12. Let's see this minus sign, minus 8/12. So this actually gives you 1/12. Okay, 9/12 minus 8/12 is really the same thing as 1/12. All right, and now you can multiply both sides by 2. So those cancel, right? So that you get x equals, right? Now, what happens over here? The 2 and the 12 cancel, and you still are going to get the answer of 1/6. A very common mistake, I hope you don't do this, is when people do 1/12 times 2, they just write 6 instead of 1/6. Be careful, the 6 is in the denominator. All right, so this can be solved this way as opposed to beginning with starting by the least common denominator. We've already checked x equals 1/6, so we know that's the correct answer. This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.